Peace and grand rising to the sovereign, original, indigenous, natural, divine heirs. Today is the 5th day of the month of April. It is 2026 on the ancient moon calendar, 2027 on the ancient sun calendar, 10,067 on the ancient Yoruba calendar, 5786 on the ancient Hebrew Israelite calendar, 1446 on the Islamic, the modern Islamic calendar, and millions and trillions of years on the ancient Moorish calendar. All rise and stand and remain standing into perpetuity and in alignment and according to the ancient Noahide laws as stated by this Holy Congress. This is a sovereign living ancient Article 3, Moorish American Al-Moroccan Universal Court action. We are the Divine Sovereign Living Justices and Aqquisitionne Pauline Ritchie, Sovereign Living Justice, and my chosen sovereign appellation is like tajiri Bay. All are in capitis diminuto nolo in red ink, in propria persona sui juris, in proprio solo, and in proprio paredes. We are capit et corpus juris lex and capit et corpus juris legalis, which is our statement that we are the one and only lawful and legal natural living head and body for our empire. We are the mother nation, and we are all eternal, ancient, original sovereign rights at this time and at all points in time, nunc pro tunc, Islam. So first, we will to send out our highest honors to our Amir, our great Sheikh Tajiri Bey, and to Empress Dr. G for another great program from this most recent Friday. And yes, they talked about systems. They've been mentioning the word system quite regularly in the last 2 or 3 or 4 meetings. And for that, we're grateful, because having a system in place is making everything so easy. It's really, really making things easy for us. So with that being stated, did anyone have any comments or questions or anything regarding this Congress's views on what was being spoken about by our great Sheikh Taj and the great Empress Dr. G? Did anyone have any, just one moment, questions? Islam. It was a beautiful program.
Islam,
Empress Shasha, Chief Justice.
Oh, Chief Justice Shasha and Bay. I haven't any questions per se, but I mean, it solidified and affirmed everything that we have been stating, discussing, studying, learning over the years I've certainly been on, and I know from from all the years you and he and all others. And the thing that was really clear is the chess move. They have literally, and he stated this, what did he say? They've caught themselves in a corner. I forget the exact phrase, but and they've checkmated themselves, or they've been checkmated. Let me correct that. The Moors checkmated them, and they cannot go anywhere but out, because it must be exposed, their status, thus, as he stated, the Naturalization Act, and I've got notes, from previously to pull that down and make the comparison from the original to the 1870 that he he mentioned, and then in the midst of that is the 14th Amendment, and all of it was about really moving us out. And, you know, what I found interesting was citizenship, and this has come up before, that the Constitution does not treat to citizenship. It's, you know, that word in itself, and again, it's another ship. And, but it just really affirmed what we are doing, what we have done, and our status, not everybody's status on this earth, on this our vast estate, must be properly identified. And we're coming to that point now. For those of us who know they have identified themselves, they can't, we have identified them, but it must come and be put out there as the sound, the light, and everything else. And so, yeah, and one of the things I had discovered myself, it's very interesting, because our previous congressional, the question of the difference between nationalization and naturalization had come up. I was doing some research myself and discovered that the same, it was not referred to as naturalization, but a proclamation was issued in 83, about enticing the Europeans, mainly from England, to come to Jamaica. They would be given land, and they would be given privileges, citizenship type privileges, and that was prior, you know. So it just tied everything up for me. So I yield.
Yeah, the word citizenship was not used back then, though. They used the word subject.
Exactly. That it just wasn't. It wasn't there. It was not there at all. But it came into being with the whole fraudulent, fictional jurisdictions and that language. Because in truth, a system is a building. I mean, it's because it has to be built in order for the characters or the beings within that system to maneuver. And so there has to be a language, which is, again, language. The culture is in the language. If it's fraudulent, the language is going to be fraudulent. But there has to be a system in order. There has to be a board. There has to be. And so that was one of the things that was very clear to me. So that they're all tied together: naturalization, citizenship, subject, nationalization, everything. And systems are central, as you have been pointing out, you know, all along, and we've been studying and everything else. So I yield.
Yeah. Well, you know, speaking of systems, we had to create a system that could infinitely hold all of our wealth. We had to create it, because there's no one else that was going to do that. They had no vested interest in creating a system for us that could handle quantum numbers.
Well, I mean,
we had to do that.
We had to. They couldn't have done it, even if it could have handled. They could not have done it. We had to do it, and we are now seeing with our own eyes the effect of our system. Yes. Because all other fraudulent systems are tumbling down, have come down. They have to.
Yep.
So, yeah. Islam.
That's what the ancestors manifested through us, and that's why we're here, is to create and activate and implement our systems. And again, our system is ancient. It's hooked up with it's a part of the ancient system that our foremothers and forefathers put in place. So we're literally going off of ancient memories to put everything in place. It's already done. All we're doing is uncovering what our ancestors put in place. That's it. Using what resources we had from the previous era to make the most of what and now we have everything. All we had to do was come together and put our minds together and be one. when we do it, and we did that already. So having stated that, Empress Cynthia, I believe you were going to say something as well. I think I saw Empress Cynthia's microphone open.
You did, Islam.
Okay. Okay, Islam, Empress.
I forgot what it was going to be, but but I do have a question on this on the Moorish American Treasury Sovereign Credit Instrument. Would it be appropriate if I add my my autograph?
It would be appropriate. Sure. Absolutely, yes.
Okay. So typically, I'm going to ask first, so I'm tempted to do it. Also, too, I'm so grateful because I use this document as an entry for my sleepy clan, my relatives who are still asleep, and so I know in the privacy of their own home, just them sitting there with a computer, and the title of it is compelling as it is. So I feel like it's a really great way to introduce this to my sleepy family, and I'm so grateful.
Islam, Empress Cynthia, are you speaking of the $666 trillion instrument, gold instrument that we put on the record?
I am.
Oh, great. Okay. Ooh. Let me tell you.
Yes. And I only saw it once. It did not repeat.
Yeah. Yeah.
It means it.
Our ancestors knew all along what they were doing. And so now, when we look back at the instrument that we put on the record, and we pair that with our fiduciary affidavit, you can just put that, the fiduciary affidavit, and what we're about to show you together, and boom, wealth. All day long, actually. So we've been doing financial things because we know that that all, as a part of the definition for the word nation, nations have, in order for nationhood to be recognized, we had, and again, we're recognizing ourselves first. That's what we had to do first, is recognize ourselves as the nation, and the mother nation at that. And then put certain things on the record. So economically, the first thing we did was we placed an original indigenous ancient universal commercial code 1 lien on the debtors that were the actors, the acting company, the United States Acting Company, because that's really who that is. They were United States of America Acting Company. We first put a lien on them to let them know that on the system. Actually, it was a financial lien, so we put it on the system to let them know that we've returned and we're going to be doing things to pronounce and announce our standing. And then once we did that in 2018, was in September, I believe it was September, no, it was August 3rd, 2018 was when we put the Universal Commercial Code 1 lien on the acting group. Then what we did, a year later, we announced the gold standard, that we're on the gold standard, okay? And then a year after that, we introduced more sovereign dollarium gold receipts. We have the receipts for the gold. We can literally produce them. And then what we did was we began announcing and pronouncing our status, our authority, our power, and our standing as the creditors, the secured creditors, to everything. So liens were going everywhere. We demonstrated the lien process, demonstrated it, and demonstrated it. And the ancestors, that was in 2018 and 2019. And then when we announced the gold standard in 2019, about a week after that, they started talking about this coronavirus that was coming, the crown virus that was coming, about a week after we announced it. So it was in September, and then 6 months later, they began shutting everything, telling everybody to shelter in place and all of that in their enactment. And so during that time period, that was in 2020, March of 2020 was when that took place, 6 months after we made that announcement. And so then, while everyone was sheltered in place, we were still doing things. And you can go back to those congresses, and we were going different places and notifying and doing due process for everything that had to do with us. And it was really easy to get around during that time period because we didn't have to, we didn't have to deal with a bunch of persons, as it were. We got a lot done. From 2020 to 2024, we got a lot done. And the ancestors list all the work that we did financially. I mean, there's a timeline that is just every day there was something being done. Every strong, instead not week, but every strong, there was things being done by this Congress. And so now that we have put the system in place, and I won't say put it in place, I'll say uncovered the system. We have our courts speaking at all times. That's going on every day, all day, every day, earthwide actually. So, and then we have our banks and banking being done every day. We've been doing that since 2018. So now what we're going to do, since we've created all of the mechanisms by which our gold can flow to us and from us, and our credits. And when we say credits, we don't mean someone giving us credits. We're issuing credit and collecting on what is due to us. So now here is the next move. Chief Justice Kaftoon, just listen to this, because this is how we're proceeding. As the next, this is like the next step in our record keeping. So we know that there were many, there's so much that's due to us that we were not balancing the ledger by offering the credits. So we've uncovered our system. We've put everything on the public record. And again, we would encourage you to put the 40 documents on the record before you do this move, because you have to be the currency controller. You have to be able to move money around. You have to be in your proper status to even do that. You have to have all of the authorities vested in you to do the things that we're speaking of right now as well. So what we're going to do now is we're going to issue our own, and I'll put the words on the screen. It's called capital credit. So whenever we gave out our credit, because remember, we're the creditors to all the nations at earth. We say that every Congress, almost, just about every Congress as a part of our court actions, we state that we are the creditors to all the nations at earth. And because we are the creditors to all the nations at earth, what we're doing now is collecting on the capital credits, but this is how we do it. Those of you who have done the 40-something documents, what you do is, we're not excluding anybody, but this has to be done a specific way. The fiduciary affidavit, that's the court action that will accompany each and every one of your capital credit collections, because collections is what we're doing now. What we do is we're going to start notifying all of the resources, all of our resources in the system. We're notifying them even today. As we speak, we're notifying them that we are collecting our capital credits. What are capital credits? The reason capitalism was invented, because see, there's duality in it. Well, they're not anymore. It's single now. But those all caps were put there so that there could be an accounting mechanism for the taxes that are due to us. So let's say, for example, you will to have an automobile. First, as part of your documentation, you're going to notify whoever, the subjects in the office of dealership or the subjects in the office of factory or whatever, that this is a capital credit refund action. And that notification will be on dealership letterhead. And y'all know, you know how to do the dealership letterhead, right? This is also a part of that 1331 diversity payment. Because diversity and reversion of estate is the same thing, really. And all we're doing is saying we're collecting on the capital credits, which is actually a refund. But we have to create the instrument, and that's going to be the Treasury checks and the Delarium. Those are the mechanisms that we issue to collect those capital, to tell them how much capital credit we're taking from the accounts, because all of those accounts are our accounts anyway. And whenever the names are given, but remember, when we're collecting this, we're collecting our capital credits. If you remember the Sesta KV Trust that we restated, it said in there that the capital, that the all the profits would be revested back in. We're stopping the revestment back in, and we're actually, and not really stopping it, we're just modifying it so that instead of someone else revesting the credits, we're going to be revesting them in our government and in ourselves and in our properties and those things. So capital credits are refunds of profit margins returned to, and it'll say members of not-for-profit cooperatives when revenues exceed costs. Revenues have always exceeded costs, but it was off ledger. So it just looked like a debt ledger, repeating, debt ledger. What we're doing is taking all that debt and making it credit. Because remember, the national quote-unquote debt was the reversion of the national credit, our national credit. Okay, our credit is gold-backed also. So some of our credit is going to be in gold coins and silver coins. and then some of it is documents. Okay, so initially the funds, these capital credits, were allocated and retained for quote unquote financial stability and paid out by the board over time. That's what they were saying. Typically in December was when checks went out. That's what Christmas was about for them in their enactment, but it's really about us. So these capital credits is just another part of our system, aside from the cash part of our system, the gold coins and the silver coins and the dollarium. Okay? What we did not know, but our great Chief Taj informed us that whenever a corporation or a company in the previous enactment would use the name in all capital letters, that was, in a sense, using that name as a member of the corporation. So if the utility company sent something in all capital letters, they were saying this is an account, and this is the statement for that account. But then they turned them into bills of exchange. And so what we're going to do is just apply the capital credits to all accounts that we have. And those capital credits are a refund to us, and then we can use them. So let's say, for example, ABC automobile. Let's try this. Let's say Jaguar automobile. This is how this is the basic sentence that we will use in notifying them by way of company letterhead. So we would go and see what the Jaguar logo is, and we would restate that logo, give it a red eye or some red fire underneath it or something. Change the logo to be a national logo, and then we would say the holder, and we spell it HOLDOR, not ER. There's a reason why creditor and debtor have the word or at the end, because it has a specific meaning. The holder for this 18 United States Code 1001B writ. We can even call it a law or writ is has elected to accept for value, and then you would put, if the thing is, if the vehicle is, let's say, $150,000, and that's a little bit on the inexpensive side for us for vehicles, but okay, $150,000 in capital credit for this sale. And then you would describe the vehicle. You would put not the vehicle but the automobile, and you would put, you know, the VIN number, the color, whatever it is. And then this sale is tendered by let's see, this sale is tendered by University, let me see, by the United States Treasury and is paid in full by Diversity Payment. And this 18 United States Code 1001B, according to, and this one is going to be 28 United States Code 1331, which is MCCC 1331, and this is the big one right here. This diversity code is the one that our great Chief Taj talked about from 2017 to 2021 almost. You know, when he was talking about our courts, that our courts are a diversity issue, and that we have to get the courts up and running because it's a diversity issue. There is diversity. The reason this is a diversity payment is because it's actually a credit. So it's not a debt payment, it's a credit payment. Okay? And when you put this code right here is going to make it so that capital letters are not that when we create them and create the instruments, that capital letters don't harm anything. So let's go ahead and take a look at this really quickly. Again, we looked at it before. 18 United States Code 1001B, 1001, just a moment. It's 18 United States Code 1001B. And again, this is about statements and entries generally. Statements is about the state. When you make a statement, that means that a state is involved. That means jurisdiction is established with our statements. And we're looking at B. But let's look at A first so that we are clear on exactly what is being stated here. So this is talking about except as otherwise provided in this section. That means that there is an exception to what I'm about to say here. Whoever in any matter within the jurisdiction of the executive, legislative, or judicial branch of the government of the United States knowingly and willfully falsifies, conceals, or covers up by any trick, scheme, or device a material fact, makes any materially false, fictitious, or fraudulent statement or representation. And this right here is about those all caps names. fictitious, of a legal fiction, or, and we stated this before, about attempting to represent the dead and calling yourself the authorized representative of a corpse. That's not what we're doing here, because we're creating it, and everything we create lives. And then it says, or makes or uses any false writing or document, knowing the same to contain any materially false, fictitious, or fraudulent statement or entry. That means you can't be a part of the debtors and then be trying to be outside of that system too. And then it says, shall be fined under this title, imprisoned, and all of that. And here it talks about if the offense involves international or domestic terrorism. And again, when they're talking about international or domestic terrorism and things like that, that's what they're saying, is that the living, or not that the living, because we don't do those things, but it's dead persons pretending to be living and pretending to be sovereign when that's not who that is. Now, the exception to this is this. It says B, and this is the part we're quoting. Subsection A does not apply to a party to a judicial proceeding. And this is why whenever we went to fake courts in the previous era's enactment, they would always throw those capital letters on the paper. Subsection, they would throw a legal fiction right up there. That's why we don't go. We have our own courts. Subsection A does not apply to a party to a judicial proceeding or that party's counsel for statements, representations, writings, or documents submitted by such party or counsel to a judge or magistrate in that proceeding. And whenever you're talking about judges and magistrates, there are none but the Moors, period. Okay? Now look at C. With respect to any matter within the jurisdiction of the legislative branch, subsection A shall apply only to administrative matters, including a claim for payment. This was A was pertinent when people were asking for fiat, for debt notes. That's when it was pertinent. Okay, but we're not even talking about fiat at all, ever. We're talking about gold, silver, and more sovereign dollarium gold receipts. Okay, so that's why it's a diversity claim. It's a diversity payment. Administrative matters, including a claim for payment, a matter related to the procurement of property or services, personnel, or employment practices. And see, this is why they weren't giving people gold and silver, or support services, or a document required by law, rule, or regulation to be submitted to the Congress or any office or officer within the legislative branch. And then it talks about Congress in part 2, C2. Again, does not apply to a party to a judicial proceeding. We could have literally stopped right here, because not only are we a judicial we're the justices and the court, but jurisdiction is also ours because of that. It's our courts. So then that's automatically going to include administrative matters, including a claim for payment. See, we wouldn't make a claim for fiat payment, but we can definitely make a claim for payment. We can do that. We can do capital credits. And capital credits is just a claim for payment. That's all it is. But it's payment in the proper jurisdiction, the gold and silver and more sovereign dollarium. And more sovereign dollarium is simply another instrument that we create. It's as effective as any of our writs and affidavits, but more sovereign dollarium always has a writ or some court action that accompanies it, whether it be a one-time documentation for what the more sovereign dollarium is, or it could be payments of that. It just depends on what you decide, what we decide rather. So that is 18 United States Code 1001B. And then in the same statement, there's a diversity payment mentioned. 28 United States Code 1331. So let's look at that really quickly. And it's real short and to the point. Short and sweet and to the point. It says the district court shall have original jurisdiction of all civil actions, and we say civic actions because we're not U.S. debtors. Okay. The district court shall have original jurisdiction of all civic actions arising under the Constitution, laws, or treaties of the United States. Okay. And that couldn't possibly be a corporation because corporations don't do treaties. And this is what justifies the diversity payment. Okay. Are there any questions, comments, wisdom about this particular action?
Islam Empress. There's an
Islam Empress.
I need to turn down this other device. There's an article. Are we going to utilize the treaty with this as well? The Article 3? Hold on. Or do we need to?
The treaty is already on the public record for those that are party to it.
Okay.
But yes, Empress, correct. That is correct though, because that's what 1331 is about. It's about diversity, and diversity is a treaty issue. And so in the treaty it says that if there's any conflict between Moors and citizens, or subjects rather, Moors and subjects, then the consul is to decide. That's why we're doing it this way, because the consul is to decide.
Islam, that's what I was speaking of.
Yeah, yes. We're the ones who have to do all of this. We have to write everything up, and, that's just what we do as part of our job. Yeah. So this is just a statement that you can include in the cover. The cover page will have this statement on it, and this will cover everything that we've spoken about in the last, not the last, but in the past few weeks, or Strong's rather. And then Justice Kaftoum and others, you'll create a Treasury check. And this money, our Treasury has $666 trillion in it right now. And at any time we can double that or triple that at will. So there's more than enough to take care of any of the things that we do. Any other questions, comments, wisdom? Islam Empress.
Is there a model for the Treasury check? Islam.
Yes, there is a model. What I did when I created one, I just took a Treasury check that I had here, that I had received, and I scanned it in and then began making some edits and changes to it. But you can use any check as a Treasury check. However you will to, if you will to use it, just a regular piece of white bond paper or something like that, then you can do that as well. This is what I edited though. So like if we do will that they look the same, they look similar. So we will use uh, these. If you just Google Treasury check, you'll see they all look similar. They look a lot like, let's say, this. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Let's take this one. Oh, look, let me go back there just so that you can see. Um, okay, so this is one right here. So what I did with mine is, of course, we flipped the, here's one right here. We turned this around. We turned this one, this Statue of Liberty, we turned her around so that her arm is going to the right, so that she's facing forward instead of backwards. And we gave her some color, of course. She is, we made her look like us. And we gave her a gold crown, and, we put color into the fire and all of this, and gave her a blue robe, either blue or white robe, either one. Blue, but blue is commerce, so light blue. And then we put our Treasury seal on here, the red Treasury seal that we have. We put it on here. And we spelled Treasury with IE instead of Y. And then we proceeded to put the Treasury direct routing number and our, either we could use our our security number. And again, security number is a restated number. That means a court action has been done, so that reversion of the state takes place with the number. And then we gave the check a number, a check number. Okay, so ours looks just like this, and then we autographed it ourselves in light blue or medium tone blue.
Islam, reverse side.
Islam, Empress.
I yield. I think Empress Cynthia is still speaking with us.
Empress, anything on the reverse side?
On the back, it just says United States Treasury, and it has a place for an endorsement. And we endorse our own and give it to them. And they can endorse underneath. If they want to endorse underneath, they can do that. But our endorsement must be on the back of the check also. And what we do when we endorse our check is we just state that all rights are, however you do that. If you say all rights reserved, and we really don't use the word reserve, because we go ahead and use our rights. We don't hold them, we use them. So however you autograph your signature, or however you write your autograph on the back of the check, and it just says United States Treasury. It's like a watermark almost that says United States Treasury. Now, if you'll notice, though, on this check, there is a watermark, and the Statue of Liberty is here, and she is looking straight ahead. Can you all see that right here?
Islam.
Yeah. So ours is facing the right of the check. And then we just, put everything on here, however we put it on here, and keep on moving.
Islam.
Empress.
Did you say that the watermark, you flipped the watermark, or I know you stated that
No.
the original image flipped of the
this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the watermark.
I didn't do anything with the watermark. On the back, it just says United States Treasury on the back.
Now, also the everything, the font is black here. Are we changing the font?
Yeah.
We're changing the font to blue, or I mean, I know we can use monochrome.
Yeah, we could use blue or black, either one, because of the fiduciary document, our fiduciary court action.
Sorry, carry on.
Whichever you prefer, whatever your spirit says. I follow the spirit on whether to use blue or black.
All right.
I think that blue is appropriate, though.
Yeah, I do. I mean, that's why I'm bringing it up. Even though I recognize with our fiduciary we can do any.
Yeah.
But my spirit is going more to the blue. And so I'm looking at all of these.
Pauline, why don't you go to Mercedes of Tacoma and try this bullshit?
So I'm looking at the data, on the document itself, and it's so all of this is in.
You never see any of this bullshit.
We're not going to be. Well, we can use capital letters, but my spirit would be using capitis diminutio minima.
Let your spirit do the thing.
Because you're a fucking fraud. That's
okay. Wonderful. And then that's Ogden or Austin or wherever for the. And I'm just breaking down some of these numbers.
Yours doesn't have to have, it doesn't have to have everything that's here on it. It can have some of the stuff. Like mine doesn't have these this digital thing here. Mine doesn't have that on it.
Yeah, no. And that's why I'm looking at all the bits and pieces and making sure they're relevant before I would even utilize them. So okay.
Yeah. And it would be considered a tax refund.
Yeah, that one jumped out at me. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay. Thank you. Are you? Islam. Oh, and just one other question, and I know I have it written down. The Treasury routing number.
Mm-hmm.
And
for Treasury Direct?
Yeah, for Treasury Direct, yes. And I know it's come up before, but if you can, bring it up again. I can note it down at the time. Thank you.
There it is, right here. It is right here. 0517361558.
0517361558. Merci beaucoup. Islam.
And then it says here your personal Treasury Direct account number. That's what we are stating about the security number. A restated security number. So a court action is done on that number so that everyone is aware.
Islam, I know sorry. I was saying they have an A in front of the 9-digit. What's the purpose of that in?
It just means account.
Oh, okay. But we don't need that, or do we put that on there as well?
We don't. No, not necessary.
Thank you.
Now, Empress, when you said should the words be capitalized, it actually should be, it should be, let me see, because I'm still thinking diversity payment. Those all caps were accounts. And the Prophet Noble Ali stated we have accounts in those names.
So, as you stated with the 1331, and that it was...
Yes. Yeah.
So that, in effect...
would mean that they should be in capitis diminutio minima.
Yeah, because that would be... Except we're taking back...
Yes.
The capital...
So they could be. Yeah,
so
it could be in all caps.
Because then the 1331 affirms and stamps that these, though capital, are diversity. And
yes. Yes.
So my spirit is, as we are cogitating this,
yes.
Not that I think it would necessarily be wrong if it were not, but the code actually is what brings it across.
Yes. And because we're creating the instrument also.
And that's diversity also, correct?
That's diversity, yes.
Okay.
And we're doing it as a judicial proceeding, not to say that we are in all caps name. It's a judicial proceeding, just like it says on the document.
That's what the language actually, yes.
Yep.
Islam.
Yeah, Islam. Islam.
My question was about clarity about using the magnetic ink for this check, and that's the question.
You could whatever your spirit says to do that. And that's actually a great. I hadn't even thought about that part, but that's a great. That's good. For those who have magnetic ink, use it. Yeah, that's really good. I better make a note of that because
Islam now. The magnetic ink is specifically for the account routing number digits at the bottom of the instrument, correct?
Yes, but usually when you use magnetic ink, it'll print out the whole thing anyway.
Right, but magnetic ink is only black.
Yeah.
So again, if the instrument is black, it's already covered by diversity. If the ink is black.
Yeah.
So
because we don't call it black, we call it yeah.
Obsidian.
Obsidian. Yeah.
So, I mean, if one has, it can be done with color and ink depending upon the devices one has, but I'm just thinking if it's going to be magnetic ink, then the body of the document, more likely the text might be, but there's a way around this. So, okay, I yield.
It doesn't have to be magnetic ink if you don't have it. You have to use what you have.
Right, I do have magnetic, but the magnetic is only black, but I have color, so I'll just play around and see how my spirit leads me. So, I yield.
There are some, let's see. There are some rocks in nature that are magnetic also. I think almost all of them are really to a degree, just because of the way the energy flows through the rocks. Rock shavings, make, because that's really all a magnet is anyway.
That is very true. I mean, one has to depend on your printer. I could go to the beach and get some sand and get some, man. Anyway. Yeah, I yield. You're right. You are
sprinkle a little bit on there.
Excuse me. Can you give that routing number again?
Yes, it is 051 736 158
736.
158.
Thank you.
Islam.
Thank you.
Islam.
Islam.
So, this whole time, this whole 8-9 years, we've been using what we have. We just use what we have. We didn't, if we didn't have something, we just demonstrate it anyway and use what we have. Yeah.
I have 2 questions.
Yes, Islam.
Islam. The signature part has something around it. I can't make it out with the magnifying glass. Do we recreate that as well?
No. No, that box, I think it says, let's see. Yeah, it's just we don't have to recreate that at all. We just autograph it. And
My
then
second,
yes, Islam.
My second question is, when it says pay to and it has lines, are those skew lines or something that pertain to something specific?
Ours don't have those lines on it. That's a barcode for the address, and we don't need that on ours.
Thank you.
So ours are going to look more natural. They're going to look more natural than this. This is computer generated, quote unquote. That's why the signature is not a wet ink signature or any of that.
Islam, Empress.
Islam.
Me just thinking about this process. I know some time ago we did a allodial, like bill of attainder. Could this also be used to pay for damages concerning diversity?
It could. It's really not it's really technically it's not a payment, it's a refund. So it can be used for whatever you choose, whatever you write up, because we write up everything, the stuff that we do. We write it up.
All right, Islam, gratitude.
Islam. Islam nobility.
And this can be used for pretty much anything, correct?
What do you think?
I think.
What does your spirit say?
Yes. And one more question. The security number, that's a number that we create, or do we have a security number that's already set?
So whatever, it's a restated social security number. It's restated.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Gotcha.
So if you put it in blue, it's a different number than if it was in black.
Right.
It doesn't have the dashes.
Right. It's not.
So it's a different number. It's a different math problem. Math, not problem, but math solution.
Okay. And you mentioned a little earlier, about establishing our courts. Are you saying specifically the buildings or just the operations of our courts?
Let's look at the definition of the word court.
Okay.
The definition of the word court is any open space. That's the definition of a court. Any open space.
Gotcha.
So this building that I'm at right now is court. If I go out to the mailbox, it's court out there too. Wherever we go, we are the court.
Islam.
And see, that's the key right there that we did not know in the previous era. That when someone pulled somebody over with a blue light flashing, that means commerce is happening. And that they were pretending to do court actions by identify the parties first and then proceed to territorial jurisdiction and then proceed to subject matter jurisdiction. Everywhere we go is court. And for me, it doesn't matter where we are. We can be in the grocery store, we can be in, no matter where we are, it's court. Because there's diversity there too. No matter what instrument we were using, it's still diversity, still. And we gave notice that even something as simple as a tire change, changing the tires on a car, on a conveyance. Here, let's go to that announcement. Way back, we said that we were going to be doing commerce for our own nation. See, now our nation has here it is right here, a public announcement.
Islam, we can't hear that.
Okay. And I don't know why you can't hear it, because I can hear it very loud and clear, but I'll just put the link to it in the chat. It's a 2-minute video. Yep. It's a 2-minute video where we were giving due process notification that we're going to be doing our own, putting things in the proper place where commerce is concerned. That's all we did was just say, because see, we didn't know that when we were calling AAA to come and help change a tire or something or give us a jump, we didn't know that was international at the time. We didn't know there was diversity. Something that simple. And if something had happened, that should have been taken care of in a court that handles diversity. And there were no courts available to do that while we were in those enactments. Now we do it because that's treaty. The treaty says that we are supposed to be doing it. So the ancestors told us years ago, make these announcements, make this announcement, make that announcement. So we just started making announcements and thinking to ourselves, okay, ancestors, we're going to see how, you're telling us to make these announcements. We didn't know they were going to have us to actually write out everything and make it the law. But whatever, Islam Empress.
Islam, maybe I'm thinking ahead a little bit, or maybe we've done it, as far as creating a document, since there's already a notice that's been put out, creating a document when it comes to transferring jurisdiction.
We're not really transferring it because it never was It never was. That's a stateless place.
Okay.
And to be honest, we've never been stateless. We've always had the blood and the birthright, you know. So it's not really a transfer. We're just announcing, proclaiming, making it the law. We're saying the same things our ancestors said. You know. And the diversity clause does that for us, Empress. We don't have to say that anymore because of this diversity clause right here. It's saying that anything that has to do with the Constitution, the laws, the treaties, anything of that comes through our court.
Islam.
Islam.
Yes, I was thinking about some things that Brother Tajiri Bey was speaking on, and he was speaking on how that this thing about the birthright citizen, they didn't really want to make it public because it was because of infighting between them, especially after, I think that was 2020 when they stole the election, and they had no other choice because of the infighting to for some to bring up the birthright citizen and how that it's really they're taking it to the Supreme Court right now, but it's going to be private. They don't even want us to know about what they're going to be saying in this thing about birthright citizen. But they open up a can of worms, and the public got to notice about it because of their infighting. The so-called Democrats and Republicans. That was very interesting. It was like an eye opener, you know. How he was saying that it's just because of infighting that the public became aware of it, but they really didn't want that to get out. They couldn't help it because of their infighting. Yeah, it's I just want to point that out. It's all.
Mm-hmm. So we know that they're actors, that they're not real judges and things, but what that really is a reflection of is because that's a reflection. It's a reflection of our ability to use the all caps and say that it's not that kind of citizen, it's this kind of citizen. It's not a foreign subject. It's a tool, it's an instrument. Because when we use the all caps, to reconvey back to us whatever we will to reconvey back to us, they're saying, well, what's the difference between that one and the foreigners who come here? That's really what they're asking us to clarify. But the Constitution already clarified that. The Constitution already clarified that. It just did it in an unapproved manner by way of 14th Amendment. Our all caps that we're using, that's not a 14th Amendment creation. It's a judicial proceeding, just like the law says. So you can't put it in jail and then come take one of us. You can't do that, because that's not us. And that's the beauty of diversity. The beauty of our diversity is, and I know that our ancestors do tests and things sometimes, but the beauty of our diversity is that that's not anything you can use to put one of us in jail. That's not how that works. We actually have to volunteer for jail, and we're not doing that. We've been there and done that already. We're not going to volunteer. So that thing is not attached to my body as surety. No. It's a tool, it's an instrument for capital, credit, and capital gains. That's all it's for. It's for wealth to come this way. That's it. That's all it was meant to be for us. But when you see it on paper, it looks like all the rest of them. But with 40 documents plus and liens and levies and bonds in place, it can't be used like the rest of them.
Right, and the nationality. Yeah, that's right.
Because the creator of it said it can't be used that way. See, they have to ask you if they can use your name, because that's the name we own. We own those names. We own all names. And so the system has to ask us if we can use it. So that's why they say things like, can you give me your name? And things like that. Or they'll say, spell it. And then they repeat it back. That's asking permission without asking permission. And so we don't have to give any part of the system that we don't will to participate in, because remember, our participation in a United States system was absolutely 100% voluntary. Voluntary. We could participate or not. And that's still true today. Just don't give your name to a part of the system you don't want to participate in. The name you own. That's why it's called your name, because you own it. And now you're using judicial proceedings to bring the stuff back, like the Prophet Noble Drew Ali stated that we have an estate in that name. We sure do, but it's the name we create, not foreigners. And yes, you can participate over here and not do anything and not have anything to do with that other stuff, all that other craziness. And that's what these are for. The diversity clause. That's what they call it, the diversity code. And then this right here. Making it a judicial proceeding. And see, when it's a judicial proceeding, Morris, then no fake court can even call you in. You're already the court. You're already the court. Islam Empress.
For the previous congresses that haven't made it onto YouTube, have you sent them out or finished editing them yet?
This will make week 3 or strong 3.
Okay.
Yep. And right now we're having things done here at this consulate, this domicile, this court. We're having some things done here, and it's really it's keeping us busy, but it's still a part of our work, you know, because it's a contracting situation. And it's not really contracting. I can't even say that because we restate everything. So that's been, but we'll get them out there. Empress Angel, most likely they'll go to you and a few of the other Moors, and you all can tribute them as you will. I just have a feeling that some of the stuff the ancestors are there, they just have us hesitating on putting some of the stuff on the record, on that record. It's on the record. All of it's on the record because this platform is on the record. It's just that those who are present can have the information, you know, because this is indeed, this is high finance. It's the highest finance, actually, because now we're doing things based on our status. And you know what the ancestors are showing us as well is that, you know, we can look like everyone else on paper until it comes to that signature, for the most part. I just always add a few things in and restate things and change things up a little bit myself anyway, no matter what I'm signing, what I'm autographing rather. But they have us, it's almost like incognito almost. And we just sound really smart. We sound very intelligent, but we don't, you know, a lot of times we don't have to say anything about nationality when we're doing these things, when we're doing these actions that we're doing, when we're restating documents and things like that. On one of the documents that we restated this week, we used black ink. And we used black ink to restate it, but when we autographed it in blue and put, you know, all the proper, in small, tiny writing. We use a super small font. That's why they say, watch that tiny writing. So we put some stuff in super small writing because it's still on there. It has to be on
there. Islam, Empress.
Islam.
Kind of like they used to make the line on checks, but we thought it was a line, and it was not a line. It was actually writing. Islam.
It said authorized representative, quote unquote. That's what that little line used to say on checks. And so we use some of that magic on our documentation. We'll take whatever they give us, we make sure we get a hard copy, and then we scan it in and we start doing what we do best. And then we get it on back. All rights perfected. Because we got so much stuff on the public record. We have so much law on the public record about who we are that is making everything easy. I don't have to change much in those documents those papers that come through here. I just add 2 or 3 sentences. All right. Perfected at all times, not so tongue. That may be down in the bottom and real small. And then I sign it in blue, autograph it in blue, and all rights perfected at all times. You know, I may put one of these laws right here on there and then keep on moving. Because we just have a lot that we're doing, and we're taking it, day at a time, step at a time. The ancestors are so faithful.
Islam.
Empress.
Thinking about, do they even really have the capacity to contract as minors?
Or under our authority, they can. And that was the issue before, is in the previous era, we were not asserting our authority.
Islam.
But we took the bull by the horns on all of this stuff. We took the bull by the horns. And then and have complete peace about the whole thing. It's a huge reversion of the state going on here. And the ancestors are saying, you put the system in place, now use it. And we just make sure we're the head and not the tail. And we have lien, levy, and bond in place already for everything that we're doing. So it gets a lot easier, Morris. When we are true to who we are, it gets easier. Much easier.
Empress.
Islam, Empress.
When we are signing off on court cases and things like that, we are to use our mother's given name.
If the spirit says to do that, do it. I do on my affidavits, but I use all of the appellations of my mother, my grandmother, my great-grandmother, my consort, because those are all estates.
Okay.
And I just put them all on my affidavits. I put them all in red on my 8.5 by 14 court action affidavits. I put it in red. Pauline Denise Lawhorn. Is Pauline Denise Lawhorn. Emmanuel Lassick, Wiley, Ritchie, Moore. So I have six so far. But if I went past my great-grandmother, then it would be however many past her. And I can go past
because
my great-grandmother.
Because I have 3 married names in addition to my maiden name.
So then
there's the Moorish name that I took on to.
Moorish appellation. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I use all of them because they're all estates that emanate from us.
Okay, thank you. That brought a lot of clarity to me.
It's fine. And see, when you go back 2 or 3 or 4, in our case it's 4 generations back, like that, you're covering the time of the quote unquote enactment of occupation of the land. You cover all of that.
Okay.
Because it started with our great-great-grandmothers, our great-grandmothers, and our great-great-grandmothers.
Oh.
They said, let's prepare our heirs for dominion over the estate. Let's do it this way. Yeah.
Okay. Now, how do we compare to them using this authorized representative? We would just put all rights protected?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And then make sure you got those documents on the public record that are the foundation. Those are land documents. That's why they're in red. Those are land documents that say this is where we are. And just because we're doing financial things does not mean we off the land. We go where we want to go, will to go, you know. We're still on the land.
Am I able to? I think I'm supposed to do this. Go back and lay another deed over what they have put on the record
Of course.
over my property.
Of course. If the Spirit is saying do that, which the Spirit is, or you wouldn't have said it, do it.
Okay.
Because let me tell you what's happening, Empress and more. Listen to this, and we see it's coming already. What's happening is that the old enactment of a system is going away, and whatever records are out there on the public record is what stands.
Okay.
So we have to have records out there in terms of what is our authority and, all of that. That's what the 40 documents is about our nationality, our fiduciary standing, our inheritance, our birthright, our bloodline, the offices that we have placed on the public record, because we're the ones who started those offices. Just like our great-great-grandma.
Okay.
Our grandmothers did that. And great-grandmothers.
Yeah, I was reading something online today even where they are really going back, tracing the deeds down, where at one point they had on the deeds record that, like, they were who they were. And if they left their beneficiaries estate, they could really put on that deed that it could not be sold to a black person, so to speak.
Right.
Now, I know the difference, but I mean, that was all across the country.
We put that there. Sure did. We put that in place because we were supposed to, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali stated that we were going to be living near each other. So we had neighborhoods of us on the high end.
Okay.
$40, $50 million, $100 million domiciles. And we said no blacks, because that's an ignorant, stateless thing, and no, you can't be black living near around all of us.
Well, now they say they are making that unlawful.
They are.
Well, that's what this.
So, however we choose to do it, is how it can get done.
What the article was saying is that if a so-called white person owned property and they left it to a beneficiary, they could actually put on that deed that it should not be sold to a black person, and they could enforce that.
Of course. Of course. I wouldn't want to.
Okay, I got you. Because we were back then. Because back then we were the true white people.
Of course. Of course. And in my mind, the programming is set. So whenever someone says free white people or free white person, I'm just automatically thinking they're talking about us. I don't even think the other way no more. I don't.
Okay.
I've been white too long.
And I know that's what we are, because I have seen it with my own eyes in the dictionary.
Yeah. And see, everybody knew that. Everybody knew that. And now we know it. So whenever I hear somebody talking about black people, I'm just automatically excluded from that. no matter who's talking about it. I just don't feel like they're talking about me. Because they're not. Never were. Yeah. I mean, my program, my governing program is fully saturated within my being. Fully.
I am too, and what I want to share with you too, Empress, is that, you know, when you told us that we should go out every day and plant our feet on the soil and claim it as our own for 30 days.
Yes.
Well, I did actually complete that process.
Yeah.
I did.
It is so.
It is true. I know it is.
Yes. It's those types of programming measures that assist us. That's why our ancestors just keep doing what you're doing. That's what the great Chief Taj told us. Just keep doing what you're doing. So we just do it. Same thing over and over.
And the other thing is, the other thing, question I would need to clarify. When we put our name down as the owner of these cooperations, etc., do we use our address or the subject's address?
So no matter what address you choose, because your spirit will tell you when to use the address of the building or structure and when to use yours, but no matter which one you use, you're going to spell it all the way out. And that way it's going to be the right address, whether you say it's there or where you are. Because it can still be in the structure. The building is on the land.
And if I took on their address with the structure's address, then what address would I assign to the subject?
It would be that one also, because that's where they do their acting. That's where they were doing their acting.
Okay.
But it depends on whether you're talking about a lien and a levy, or if you're talking about something that's already been reverted back to you. If there's been a reversion of a state process done on it, which is lien, levy, bond.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, say I'm doing a levy.
Then on the levy, it would be the way they write it in capital letters and black ink and stuff like that. Because what you're doing is saying that anyone who was using that and claiming property does not have access to the property anymore. If they're trying to claim, because that's a levy is a court action also. It's an internal revenue court action. And all we're saying is this property belongs to the people and not to a court, a corporation.
So I would use the IRS address?
Yes, the internal revenue system.
Okay.
And again, spell everything out. If it's street, spell it out street. If it's road, spell it out. If it's, New York or Washington or, Georgia, spell it out.
Okay. Well, I've got this problem where when I use our stamps on my mail, they won't even pick it up. They won't even pick it up out of the box anymore. And if I drop it in a box at the post office, they send it back to me and tell me that I need to put postage on it.
Because of the way you're writing the address.
No, I made sure I did that correct.
Okay.
I was very well aware of that. I think they just picked up on me.
No, they'll take it because the system is already programmed to take our stuff. It's been programmed for years now, and it's been working fine. The system is already in place, so it has to do with. Are you calling the subject on there?
Yes.
I would have to see one of your envelopes. If you, what about post office code? Do you put zip code or post office code?
post office code.
Okay. I'd like to see one of your envelopes at some point. Whenever,
Okay.
if you can like even take a photo of it with your camera and then email it to me or something like that. Take a photo of your envelope with your camera and then email it to me. I'd like to take a look at them because it's a simple fix, Empress. It's not a difficult fix. It's a simple fix.
I'm wondering. I was kind of wondering in my spirit, would it be proper to lien, levy, and bond now?
Yes,
take them through court.
They must be lien, levy, and bond by you.
Okay. I'll do both. I will get it to you.
Yeah. Yeah. They have to be lien, levied, and bonded by government officials.
Okay.
Islam.
Nobility.
I lien, levy, and bonded my post office and one in Birmingham, and they were suspended, you know, what they were saying in the article, that it was unfair. Somebody could do paperwork, this, that, and the other. And the offices was suspended for like 3 days or something like that. They had to go to other territories to get postal stamps.
Yeah. Our liens they're very powerful. So that's why each...
And it took 2 weeks. It was like 2 weeks after I did the paperwork, they was hollering in the article. It was on the news and everything, local news and everything.
Yeah. Our liens are very powerful, and that's why the I's have to be dotted, the T's have to be crossed. You know, everything has to be a certain way. And when we do it a certain way, then they have to act like they know. Because they do know. I mean, we can I mean, you see what the lien that we did in 2018 and 2019 did. It shut the whole thing down. The whole thing. So all we have to do now is just keep doing what we're doing. And that lien was by this whole Congress. You know, it wasn't just me. I mean, I presented it, but I'm a Congress coordinator, like everybody else.
I will say I've been here since the beginning of the Congress, I will say. And not today.
Yes, you have. And I'm so grateful for you. You didn't let anything or anybody stop you. You just kept going. You've been tested and all of that. Yeah. All we had to do was stand. Islam, Empress.
One more question. Those 2-cent stamps that they look like a blue necklace or something on them. I have used those stamps in the past, and they did take the mail where I wanted it to go. It's still lawful. I mean, they don't want to sell them to you at the post office, but is that a course of action for us also?
No, because we have our own stamps that we created that the system honors. And that's why, you know, once we get ours, you know, now that we have our stamps going, they have no reason to even sell a 2-cent stamp. Because 2-cent stamps were used by those that were pretending to be sovereign.
Oh, okay.
You know, the modern Europeans used to put them on top or on the back of their documents and things like that. There's no need for that. The actual sovereigns are awake. We're here. We're standing. And we make our own stamps. We create our own stamps.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's the ancestors have been so good to us. They've been so good to us. through us.
Is it possible, greetings, is it possible that just being in a different territory means that you may have to do a little bit more for them not to hold your mail? Because that was one of the things that we had to look at here in Canaan land. I yield.
So one thing I've noticed about Canaan land overall, and this is just overall from documents that I've seen from Canaan land, is that some of the seals have not been nationalized, and so you all still will use a seal that hasn't been nationalized, and that's not a criticism; it's just an observation. We were all there at one point, so that's you have to make sure that things like that are done, that the seal is nationalized and going in the right direction, and things like that when you're doing documentation. Or else what the system will do is it will hold the mail or return it to let you know that there's still something in your process. And sometimes it can be something inside the envelope that's the system will know. So you just have to, it's not about territory, it's about the process.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Islam,
Empress.
I have a question again about the mail. So you had mailed something to me at this territory.
Mm-hmm.
It still has not reached here.
It went to Jamaica, New York.
Right. It actually states it still has, if you see where they have the it's like it has the track of where it is. So it hasn't quite reached out for delivery to come to here. So it's sitting in Jamaica, New York. So what would be hanging it up there?
The contents, what I put in there.
Oh, well, now.
And that's what I was saying. The system knows, because the only thing that was in there, Empress Shasha, was a letter that this Congress went over with Donald Trump's signature.
Right. I have it. I mean, but we spoken, yeah. That makes absolute sense.
So it went to where he is, New York.
That is, however, it was addressed to here, but
our
it
system
went.
knows. Yes, our system knows. If I was to, and I'll say this, if I was to send a letter, let's say if I was to send a letter to my sister saying, hey, good morning, I miss y'all and this and that, and I put it and I stamped it a certain way, it wouldn't go to her. It would come back to me because the system knows what's in the envelope.
Yes. Yeah.
But if it's about government and nationality and things like that, it'll get straight to her.
It will reach.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
If I had sent you something related to Congress, even it would have been there by now.
Very
interesting. The system knows, and that's why anytime something is held or not working the way it's supposed to, we have to look at what we did. Now, the Spirit told me before I sent it to you, because it's not that it wasn't a government thing, because we agreed on it in Congress.
Yeah.
But it wasn't really specific to you.
It didn't need to come to me. Exactly.
It wasn't necessary for it to come to you. So it said, okay, we'll just send it to where he is.
So there are still things in the system somewhere. There, it's not that I have mailed, that it's not even showing, and I've put them in the box myself, and you know, it's not even showing that they're even in the system in any fashion whatsoever.
So, Empress, how do you record the things that you send out? Do you record like the number and where it was sent to and all of that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because I go back and then check, and it excuse me, like I'll, you know, in the past and with the document you sent, it'll show it's in the system or out for delivery or it's good. These ones, it comes up with red writing, not even, what does it say? No information, or that's not the correct word. But
no status?
No, it doesn't use those words, but it does come up with red writing. It's a red writing and a lighter shade, like a rose color. Let me put something in, and I can.
So let me say this about that, Empress. When you see things like that, it may have something to do with you're sending court actions on 8.5 by 14. Is that correct? That you're sending things on 8.5 by 14? Okay. That process may require a legal accompaniment with it, with the 8.5 by 14. Because whatever it is that you're trying to say, the system is saying, we see the red writing, but where is the legal accompaniment? Because the red writing is lawful, and then there's a legal portion.
No, I'm not. My label, these labels are blue. You know, these are blue. The red I'm speaking of is when you go to USPS.
Well, no, I know what you're saying. It will say, it will have a thing that says something about
label not created or something.
Yeah, has not been put in the system yet, basically.
Yeah.
So what I'm talking about in terms of the red writing and the blue is that you're sending the law, but whatever it is that you're sending, wherever you're sending it to, will need a legal document to go with it. Our legal documents have a restated logo of a company somewhere.
Yes.
And it's in blue. And we do it in blue. Have you begun nationalizing logos yet?
Oh my gosh, I've done so many. I mean, and this is the thing, some of these things is to the internal revenue. Some of these things are notification to nationalized companies. So yes, the answer is absolutely yes. I've been doing those things and have done those things. So
then it's the process. Whatever it is that you're telling them, there is a company process that has to be restated in order to get that done, instead of just an affidavit. Because, you know, we would send affidavits, but for something, because we're speaking to a system, there are some.
When I put my documents together and put them in the envelope without stamping, and I put them in the mail. So you're saying to me, there's something missing in what I've done in notifying the Postal Corporation of Jamaica. Is that what you're saying?
This is what I'm saying. I'm saying that a process has to be observed. So if you're sending something to the internal revenue system, the legal document that I'm talking about is going to have internal revenue system at the top.
Correct.
And it's going to be the nationalized logo, and and whatever it is that you're saying on your affidavit, there's a form for it that has to be restated in order to get that thing done. That's how you speak to that system, because you're speaking to internal revenue system, but the system, whatever it is you're trying to do, there's a form for it that has to be restated for that thing to get accomplished.
All right. So I feel as if I've lost you a little bit here because
maybe so. I might.
The issue is the post office.
I know what you're saying. And what I'm saying is, if what you're sending doesn't meet every area of the system,
yes,
then the ancestors use the post office to let us know that there's something in the process that has to be observed, that we have to look at.
Okay, so everywhere, and I've got, between tributes and internal revenue and liens and notification, if
when
all
you
of
say tribute, what are you saying about tribute?
When we did on our national trade launch, so nothing's gone anywhere from those things. I know that much.
But they didn't come back to you?
And nothing's come back to me. This is the thing. Nothing has come back to me. And I have where our post office was working, and then all of a sudden it stopped working. Nothing's coming back. Nothing's showing up on the tracking. Because even going back to leaning, then I would do the resignation, and restate the logo and do all of those. All of those steps, notifications, but nothing since 20. Nothing's, and this is where I hear what you're saying. I do hear what you're stating, but I can't, and I have looked, and I'll look again. But
this
is
the spirit to show you what the issue is.
And I have. This is the other piece, but I have to go check back in again because
the system is, the spirit is trying to get you to see something. Okay? Because the process, we know the process works. We have no question about whether the post office process works or not. We don't have any questions about that. We know it.
Right.
So then there's something in your process that the ancestors are trying to get you to look at. And it's not that you're not hearing them. It's that whatever it is that sometimes they want you to wait on what you're doing because there's something else coming, some other piece of information coming. Other times it's the process. Empress Anagel, you were going to add to what we're stating as well.
If I will just share what this past strong, the demonstration that the Spirit set me to do, to take action on this strong, which was about creating a deed and an occupancy certificate for the Canada Post Corporation, and specifically for the third party so every Canada Post location is in a Shoppers Drug Mart, and that corporation is the George Weston Foundation. So it was in this past strong that put the deeds, specifically the deeds and the occupancy certificates in place for these two nationalized resources, right? And then I did the demonstration, and then took that and recorded it at our land registry. So I'm the land register for Ontario Corporation and just for this territory. And so I took that with the deed for my location, where I am domiciled, where our consulate is for Caneland Territory. Yes. And I placed that on the record. And I could just feel the energy just lift, like it was just like went whoop, up in the air. It just went like everything just opened up. What it came to me is that in this time, our statement that we are the founder treasurer is particularly putting a lot of energy. You know, everyone has to get in alignment now. You get what I mean? I'm getting the sense that the subjects are ignorant of the law. They don't really know what this shift is. They just know that the shift has occurred and everybody's now been put in their status.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yes.
That's in fact what has occurred. And
yes.
And so me placing it on the record was governing the territory. Canaan land needs to have, you know, my attention at times to govern and set that this is how it is. Yeah. And so doing that cleared a lot of energy, and it allowed me to then move forward as I needed to on the things that I need to do. You know, what is the work I'm doing at this time? So Islam, that's what I want to share.
That's so good, and Prasanna Gel, that's so good. The occupancy and I can guarantee you that's probably the key right there.
Indeed. Yes.
For Jamaica.
So what I'm hearing, you did an occupancy certificate for your domicile. That's what you said? Is that what you stated? Empress Anagel or Chief Justice Anagel? Or for the post office locations? Clarify that piece for me.
So in clarity, I did it for all. So I am the United States Post Office.
Correct.
Right? And the Canada Post Corporation, I put the deed on that, and I am Canada Post Corporation as well. And the deed and the occupancy certificate is in place. And in how it has been restated recently, it is under the Canada Procurement Ministry. So I put that on the record as well, so that there's no confusion about, you know, at any level, all of those are my offices and I occupy them all.
Yes.
Because it's this energy of like this third party trying to, the subjects are still, even though they know what's going on. I put it on the record just for clarity, just so no one can feel any, you know, no, of course we're doing exactly what is lawful here. And, you know, Chief Justice has set it and all is well, you know. And it's the deeds. The deeds and the occupancy certificate is what puts them, like the energy just completely calms down.
Yes.
And that you know, it's in, I mean, one of the documents I have is the deeds for the Postal Corporation. For our, yes.
The one that closed, if you will that it be opened, do an occupancy certificate for that building.
Well, I've done I haven't done an occupancy, but I will do that for because the ones that I were using, one of them, it's mashed from Melissa, but I still have deeds for them, even though, you know, it's shut. But the ones closest to me, I will do the occupancy certificate as well. Add that to the mix, and so yeah, I see pieces now. I mean, as we're discussing, and thank you, Chief Justice Anagel, for your input there also.
And Chief Justice, and as you know, I have the folder in due course statement to go with it as well. Like for me, you know, these three writs go together in every claim for me at this point. So I'm the holder in due course, and this is the public trust deed, and this is the occupancy certificate. And that goes with every claim. That goes with every lien. That goes with every levy. Let me just put it this way. It goes with every levy. So that's how the process is. It's wrong.
We had discussed all of these things from way back. Actually, I can remember, you know.
Yeah.
So, and I actually have a sample that I had created for another office way back. So I see some missing pieces from my perspective, absolutely, and I will get those put together and perfect my process.
Yes, Mom.
Yes, yes, Mom.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, Empress Unniversalle, thank you so much. You're such a great living record of the things that we have done, that this Congress has put on the record. We do have a video for those who will to see it, showing our occupancy certificate for the post office and the license for them to even operate. They had to have that. So we issued a license and a occupancy certificate for them from the city, from Federal Way. So, and I believe it is, we also did, on our bond, we issued a United States Marshal writ for port entry of all the documents and things that are coming and going through the post office. So that's our bond process, Morris. And I'm pointing to the video on the screen. Post Office Lien Levy Bond, United States Marshal writ for port entry. So all the packages and things that come and go have to go through our port with our stamps and things. So,
Empress, one last thing. So I think I did it, the demonstration like the previous Monday, and then, you know, yesterday, you know, Rose Powell, you know, she came and she said, I got a return receipt, and I started to laugh. I said, they were holding it all this time. They put it in the mail right away. I started to smile. I really did. And so I'm glad, you know, that the ports are open, you know what I mean, truly, and it feels good as well.
Yeah. You know, Empress, when you spoke about you could feel the energy open up. That's how we do all of our demonstrations. All we do is listen for the spirit, and then do what the spirit says do, and then just watch the energies, and we know we hit the jackpot when we feel that energy open up and the way and access is granted. You know, we're granting access to ourselves for what we're doing, you know. And everyone at every territory who can issue the occupancy certificate for the post office from the city, please do so. Just if you're not there yet, don't worry about it. Just wait until you'll get to that point at some point. But that's, Empress Shasha, that's how the system speaks back to us and says there's something that needs to be put. There's something that needs to be put.
Thank you so much. I hear it. I hear it. And yes.
It's not a rejection. It's a put this in place and things will move.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely, it's a button. It's a, you know, it's a button. It's an alarm that's saying bing, 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 bing. You know, that's exactly. Yes. And the document has come before. You know, I had shared I had lost a bunch of hard drive. But that particular occupancy certificate came up before my very eyes, like I was sharing. And I mean, it's not something I'd thought about for a long time, but clearly it came up in what I do have access to for a reason. So again, Chief Justice Anaja, Chief Justice Light, merci beaucoup. I yield.
Islam. Malimbe Zola.
Peace and love.
Islam.
So Islam, I'm thinking about, in the beginning when we started off, we were using the Canada Post stickers, which we'll use for registered mail and so on, right? And then we had to negotiate to get Anthony to send us the United States green stickers, and I had tried to get somebody else in my family to send it and so on. Is there a way that as a Moor we can just ask the United States Postal Service to just send us those stickers? Because that seems to be an ongoing conversation I'm having right now about how do I get those stickers, because I can't just go to my post office here and get them, and the post office here, their stickers, something has changed about that, so I cannot use those either. And so those was
what changed about them?
Eh?
What changed about them that you can't use them?
Not available. Not able to get them at the post office. Not able to access them in any way. Because it's not, because before we were just picking them up and using them. Now
there has to be a way to inform them. Let's see. Well, let's see. It might be time, Empress, and I'm looking at this also at some point. It might be time to start assigning our own numbers, your own values or numbers, tracking numbers. It might be time to do that.
Right, because the good thing about the United States stickers is that it does have something that they have to send back, and the Canadian system never did have that. So anyway, thank you.
So then maybe we could have someone to send some, because it's still domestic. Still. Yeah. It's still domestic. Would someone volunteer to send the empresses at Canaan Land Territory some green return receipts, and some of these and some of these green return receipts, and then some of these
Islam
to go with it? Islam, Empress.
I've ordered those off of the United States Postal System website, and they've come directly to the domicile.
Really?
Yes,
well, there you have it.
I've done that before previously, and I recently put in a request for that as well on the website. So I'm waiting for those to come. So the first time that I ordered some, they came to the domicile, but now I've traveled. I'm at another domicile now, and so I was going to do it again. So I'm waiting to have those come in. So what you would do is just create an account on there, by with an email, password, like everything else, and then you can search. Let's see. You can just search for the certified green receipts and the return receipts and order them. There's no charge for them.
Wonderful. At an earlier point, we have done that, and when it got to the border, they sent the green return receipts across, but they would not send the stickers.
What?
Yes. And so clearing this energy about border, and border in the sense of those who are renting or leasing in that sense, not as a real line on our land, is needing to be cleared. And that's what this whole, movement to come to the congressional gathering is about. That's what is clearing right now. Yes. There's no borders on our land as well.
Empress, if you tried again to order those, you might get the whole thing because you've done what you did this strong rather, Empress on the show, with, the occupancy piece and that. That might have cleared that energy so that you get the whole thing.
It's
Yeah. Listen, anytime something doesn't go the way I envisioned it to go, I always look at my process and ask the ancestors to show me what I did and how can I make this better. And the ancestors not one time did they ever not tell me. They always told me. Sometimes it'll take 24 hours for the information to saturate in, but it always comes in. We're God, so, if there's anything going on, we're responsible for it. Period. And that's not a bad thing, that's a good thing, because all we have to do is change a thing or two, and boom, we get the result we sought.
It's true.
We're not afraid to look and look at what we're doing and see where we can fix it up a little, get it together a little, do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I mean, I remember in 2018, it was either 2018 or 2019, I sent out a bunch of packages and they were in the wrong size envelope. And the person previously acting as mail lady came and she dropped all those packages on the front porch. She just dropped them, all of them, twice. She did that. And the ancestors were saying, okay, go look at, and that's when we started looking at the mail policy and saying, okay, it's supposed to be this size envelope, and the envelopes have to look like this and that. So we just matched that up and haven't had a problem since then. That was when we were first perfecting our mailing process. Yeah, we've been through all of that. and that taught us to listen to the spirit when we're doing things. That's why we clear our energy and then do something. And then do it. We do it and then let the spirit say, okay, this and that. And the spirit is always speaking as we're preparing our demonstrations. The spirit will be speaking. And we can say yay or nay to what the spirit says. If the spirit says, do you want a test on this? And we say no, we don't get a test on it. And then, because we've been tested so often, we can now hear the spirit. It's a still small voice. The spirit doesn't yell because we're not hard of hearing. So all we have to do is just listen and give the spirit a chance to speak.
What's up, man?
Are there any other questions, comments, wisdom from this amazing Congress?
Islam, are you going to post this? Are you going to post this?
Yes, as soon as I can get to editing it. This is the third Congress where I've not had the opportunity to edit it all the way through.
Okay,
I could send them out unedited, but
no, what? I can wait. I just wanted to know.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Islam, are you?
Yeah. The ancestors, Islam nobility is great to hear your voice.
Chief Justice Travis Nails. I want to ask you about the birthright citizenship. A lot of talk has been going on around about that. How did
About
that
what?
birthright citizenship dealing with the slaves in that 14th Amendment? How's that?
Right.
With those?
So we are giving our persons that we own, and that would be like Pauline Ritchie in all capital letters and black ink, as created by me. That's what they're saying is what kind of citizen is this? Is this a citizen? Is it a subject? Is it a tool? And for us, it's not that kind of person. That's why they're talking about, well, where does that leave them? We have to now identify their status, their subject. And our person is a tool. Pauline Ritchie in all capital letters and black ink, that's a tool. That is not me. It's a tool that I created. And there's no living being walking around that anybody can put in jail using that. So they're saying, well, do they have, what is their all caps going to be? And not just their all caps, but their in capitis diminutio minima. Because they sign with a capital letter in the beginning and all lowercase letters after that on their names as well, because they have names. See, we don't have a name. We own all names. And they're asking, okay, what does that mean? Birthright citizenship is the status of the person. That's what birthright citizenship was all about. It was about the status of the person. So it depends on the documents that anchor whatever you put out there. See, in the previous era, we were signing things and sending it out there, and it wasn't anchored to anything. It was stateless. That's why they was doing some of any old thing. But now we have a foundation for all that we send. And so now they're saying, well, what about us? That's what they're saying. What is the status of our names? And we've already said they're subjects. Subjects of
Islam.
Islam, Empress.
So Islam subjects have privileges. That's what we're really stating. They have privileges. They're not nationals. They're subjects, and they're subject to the nationals and under the nationals. Correct?
Yes, just like my person. Pauline Ritchie does what I tell that thing to do. It's a piece of property. It's property.
And they they are property. That's by coming and being here, that is their status. That is that's their status.
According to the Bible, that's their status.
Correct. And so everything has just been put back right. That's all. No more, no more falsification, fiction, and floating around. Everyone is properly identified. Islam, yeah.
Well, and then just take a look at this. We know the 14th Amendment is not the law for us. We know that.
Well, the 14th Amendment, the purpose of it was to try to capture us, the original people, the nationals, in a net that was denationalizing, another version of a denationalization. Is that not the truth?
Yeah. It was really for them. It wasn't for us at all.
In the beginning, exactly, right, and then it was corrupted, right.
And it gave them privileges and immunities of citizens of the United States. And their immunities were that no foreign power could come and be dealing with our subjects, a particular way or not. But what it said It says all persons born or naturalized in the United States. That tells you that the whole United States was about persons, not people.
Not people, exactly.
And you see what I'm saying? And we're not persons. We're people.
We are people.
We are the people.
And that was the semantic. So as over time, as the language became more and more connotative, and the education and all of those other things, there's the muddying of the waters.
Yep.
Ignorance.
We were never born or naturalized in the United States.
You know, it's very interesting. There's a slogan being used here with regards to a corporation. Come here, you are born here.
That part.
That part.
All of that.
And it's only, of course, it's foreigners, persons attempting to, but that it's right there in the language.
It's in the language. All we had to do was read it. And it says, even here in Prashasha, look at the word subject. Subject to the jurisdiction thereof.
There.
That's us. We're the jurisdiction.
Right.
And our subjects are subjects to, they're subject to this jurisdiction. Us.
This was 1858, I think, when the 14th Amendment, if I'm correct, when
somewhere
it was
around there.
Somewhere around there. Yeah. Yeah.
And then, you know, it says that no state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of the citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person
of life,
liberty, or property. Again, not talking to the people, they talking about persons. The people own the property, not persons.
Right. I mean, it's clear.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We didn't go along with this. We did not go along with the 14th Amendment. That's why they say that it wasn't properly ratified.
Well, that's correct. It never. Why would we? Why would we? And that's.
And see, persons. A person with life has to be created by us, and that's why we say all rise and stand. That means raise yourself on, you know, be raised at our word.
Yes.
Without due process of law, not rules and not legalities, law. That's why we had to speak to it.
Yes.
And it says, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. So again, they're still talking, because see, this is people think, you know, all men are created equal. This right here tells you that any person in the United States is equal to any other person born or naturalized in the United States. Not the people.
Yes.
Not the people. There's none beside us.
People isn't even in here in any place, because it's coming from the people. It's the people's creation.
Well, the people made all persons subject to our jurisdiction.
Right.
And so all the persons are equal in the United States that were born or naturalized there. Our persons, and this is not, we're not persons, according to 18 United States Code 1001B. No, is it 28? Wait a minute, let me go back to my notes so I can make sure that I'm saying this properly. 18 United States Code 1001B talks about how you can't represent a fiction, because that would make it a falsehood. But again, by judicial proceeding. So whenever we're using capital letters and things like that, it's a judicial proceeding.
Right. We're the court.
We're the court. And they were giving us an example of that by capitalizing everybody who went into a fake court.
Well, they'd already capitalized by virtue of the people and the persons accepting instruments from the fraudulent system.
Yeah. So, Moors, we were never persons. Never. I mean,
we have persons. We are not
right.
persons.
We govern persons.
Govern persons.
Persons are a part of our property. And here's the thing: people get this confused too. It says, "Nor shall any state deprive." That means deprivilege.
Right.
Deprivilege any person of life, liberty, or property. It doesn't say you can't do it. It says you have to have due process of law to do it.
Yeah.
It doesn't say you can't do it. It says don't do it without due process of law. So we can do eminent domain and things like that. And we're keeping the peace on stuff like that. We're not just going around yanking folks' stuff, the things that they've been occupying, quote unquote. But what we are doing is leaning everything. Lien, levy, and bond, because it belongs to us anyway.
That's
and titling.
Privilege is privilege.
Is privilege. That's exactly what it is.
It's conditional, so. Mm-hmm.
Islam.
And because we hold the original records. Like that. Yes. We hold the original records.
Yes.
Islam.
Yes. And that's the point, and that's the key. Right there. Yeah. That's how you prove jurisdiction is by your records. And now we have a whole system set up to record our records. To record.
Yeah.
But we had to start it. All systems, I don't care what system it is, all systems start with words. Spoken or written, and usually written.
And that is the truth.
And that's why we did what we did, all the things we did.
Islam, I was reading a book. It's called The Cosmic Serpent, but in it was this anthropologist who was going to third world countries and researching the indigenous peoples and their ways. And one of the things that really jumped out at me today was how he talked about he was teaching the people accounting in their system. Now he was going, what he was doing was, looking at their plants and the way they live, and it was the precursor to them lotting up the land of the indigenous as an NGO, but he was teaching the people accounting. And that really jumped out at me because, again, accounting records is all part of the system, whether you're, correct, de jure or de facto. And in fact, it's with the de facto and the occupiers, the accountings, the records were used.
Yes.
It was something for me rereading this book actually many years ago, but it just jumped out at me today as a sure sign of me having grown and really knowing how to read. I yield.
Thank you, Empress Shasha. I'm adding one more sentence to this. This writ applies all capital credit to the account for Pauline Ritchie without foreign interest there it is. And rather than say without foreign interest, we actually could say with 100% interest. We could even say it that way. Okay, so now this can be done with utilities. It can be done with accounts of any kind set up anywhere. Okay.
This could be done at your supermarkets. This could be done.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And may I ask one more question? When you were stating all the appellations of your mother, grandmother, great-grandmother, are you stating maiden names and married name or matrimonial names, or how are you doing that? Can you clarify that?
It is definitely maiden names.
Maiden names.
Because there's no marriage and changing of the names of the matriarchs in our. But I did add my grandmother's matrimonial name because there are so many of us on that side. On my great grandfather's side, I did add her matrimonial name as well because it's also in the state. So you could add both, either.
Okay.
Whatever your says,
okay.
I would add both because in reality, my father's name is or appellation is there as well. So we can include all of that as well.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, Islam.
Because
they still came together to make babies and put empires together.
In truth, so in that case, even for instance, I had one matrimony and I have two beautiful sons from it, but I in the enactment I'm divorced, but the matrimonial appellation is the appellation that my sons, it's part of their appellation. So clearly
that's an estate. That's an estate also.
Thank you. I wanted to just confirm that is in the mix too. So
yes, and I also put my consort's family appellation as well because my daughter has that appellation as a part of her estate.
Okay, so that even the consort's family. Yes. Okay. Wonderful. Wonderful.
Yep. And that can be if you had 7 consorts, you could add all those estates to your.
And I've shared this in congressional before, but I'm going to share it again because my ex-consort, our children's great, possibly one more, grandfather was governor of Jamaica. I mean, I didn't know this till after we were divorced, and I'm trying to find info on my own family and discovered this. Yes, I mean, that's how I know that this life is not accidental in any fashion, and people come together and come apart. Yes, maybe, but there is a reason for the joining.
Yes, you know, I found out also that my daughter's uncle is his great grandfather was the emperor of Haiti. His appellation is Christophe. Okay. And when you look up the name Christophe there, that was their last emperor before the corporation swept in.
Islam, empresses.
Islam.
I was just thinking about what Sasha said, Empress Sasha said, utilizing that appellation to that estate from her ex to be able to do work in Jamaica.
Yep. Boy, that's some good ammunition, even though we're not at war. That's some good power and authority.
And that's very true. That's very true. And I also discovered that my great grandmother, so my grandmother's mother, her family were connected to the Plantagenet line, which is one of the royal lines that was sort of swallowed up, went underground with the corporation and all sorts of things. So there's more to learn, but I'm discovering many things along this way. Yeah. Well, I'm home, so that's the truth of it. There are many secrets. It's coming out. And I'm finding that actually the secrets were not necessarily secrets from, malady. There wasn't malintention. Right. It was required. This was because of the heritage. And so, it's just powerful. Anyway, I yield.
Very, very, very. I think we all have some things like that in our first story.
Yeah.
Any other questions, comments, wisdom from this amazing Congress?
I do have a question. What is I know that you use a dictionary, and I would like to know, is it something online, and how old is it?
My dictionary is not online, and it's 1828 unabridged Webster's dictionary. But I do have a Black's Law online.
Right.
But this one is the 1828 Webster's unabridged. Unabridged just means that you're going to get the oldest definition last. They put the most modern definitions first, and then they go all the way down. Each time the word changed, they recorded it.
And it's
Webster.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. It's unabridged. This is a second edition. Webster unabridged. So it gets all the old ones, old definitions too. That's what I like about it.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Mrs. Someone I was going to meet with someone after Congress today.
Islam.
Was it you?
No.
No. Go ahead.
I have a twin brother, and I have one name and one appellation. When I was 20, I think I changed my name to Nadan Shabiz. My mother named me Donald Williams. And we compared when I changed my name to an appellation. I got a different type of birth certificate, even though I know I have to restate. Well, I have already restated it, but I want to make sure I restated it right. His birth certificate is different from mine. So when I went down to, I had to go to Chicago. They denied me birth certificate because the name was not the same as my appellation on my identification. So I did the restatement that you did on restating the birth certificate, and in all fonts. I just want to know if I did it right. And another thing, let me be quick. I want to send you.
What does your spirit say?
My spirit say, use them all.
Okay, then you do that.
Some in capital, some in lowercase. But what was I going to say? Well, basically that's about it. The birth certificates are different, and my brother keeps telling me you got to go this, and I'm like, you ain't got to do that. All you got to do is present your paperwork and have it done right, and it should be suffice. Basically, that's all I want to say, because I heard about the maiden name. Oh, another thing, I have two mothers. One mother who raised me, who's Cherokee, and the other one is Moore. She's the one that birthed me. She's still alive. I didn't find out until I got out of prison. And I had her do a fingerprint to state that she was still alive, and the rest of my tribe, same documentation, fingerprints on all, and I sent that in. I haven't got a receipt for it yet, but I've gotten receipts for the rest of my stuff. I want to know, why is my birth certificate different from my brother's? It's totally different.
Well, who produced those birth certificates?
I went to the Treasury, not the Treasury, but I went downtown Chicago when I was 20 and changed my name. And then I went to Social Security, and I said I want to get my name on, or my, well, at that time, my name on the birth certificate. And they said, okay, you want the same number? I said, yeah, I want to keep the same Social Security number. So that's what they did. So it was done legally. I didn't do it, but I'm sorry, it wasn't done legally. It was done by the government. But
no, it wasn't.
Oh, right, because we are the government. My bad. Right. I back up.
Right.
So my question is, for further documentation, I should use all names and all appellations?
What does your spirit say?
Yes.
Okay.
It does say yes?
And yes. Yeah, I agree with your spirit.
Okay. With that being said, I yield, and thank you for being so on time every Sunday, all Sundays. Sometimes I get cut off and I cannot get back on, and it's very, and then again, I know maybe it's not the computer's fault.
Take a deep breath and just breathe, and then sign on.
With that, I yield. Peace and love, Congress.
Islam. Peace and love. Islam. With that being stated, we will adjourn at this time, and we will meet again on, I'm not sure, let me see, Sunday. Okay, yeah, we'll meet Sunday.
Islam.
Islam.
Did you see my message, Empress?
No. No. We had already, I see the message now, Chief Justice Nate, and we had spoken about it. Empress Angel and I spoke about it briefly before Congress. So we were going to wait until the coming Congress, because she said that the video wasn't quite ready yet, and we wanted to introduce it and give the people something that they can look at the same time of the introduction.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
No, I just wanted to show everybody that this is what's coming for the future, but I don't want it to be on the recording.
Oh, can we do it this coming Sunday?
Yes.
Okay. Because we put a certain amount of time on it, because that's going to take about an hour probably to present, and we want to be fresh for that information. And Empress Angel and I had a discussion, and I left it up to, I left it up to her, she left it up to me, so we mutually agreed that we would just give it a little more time, maybe a week, this coming strong, and then put it forth. So we're excited about it. We just want to be able to give them links or something that they can use so that they can look at it and see.
Islam, as is Nathaniel, he's very, very excited. During Congress, he was working more on it and such. Yeah. So he's very excited. His baby to be born for the people. So it's beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. And for yours, Empress, as well.
Yes, that part as well. Yes, yes.
So y'all got a set of twins over there.
Indeed, we do.
Islam. Okay. Peace and grand rising to the sovereign, original, indigenous, natural, divine heirs. And we will meet again on Sunday.
Islam.
Grand rising. Peace and love, Moors. Peace and grand rising. Love you all.
Peace and love.
Islam. Yeah.
Gratitude, peace, and love.
Wow.